In this video, I'm going to do my best to summarize why people take collagen, what collagen actually does, who, if anyone, might benefit from taking it, and what alternatives you could consider. Why do people take collagen? The main reason you'll hear people promoting collagen is for their bone, joint, and skin health. Collagen makes up about 25 to 30% of all of your body's proteins. The main amino acids present are glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. For those who don't know, a protein is a mix of amino acids that are all chained together. Now, the reason the amino acid of collagen protein matters so much is because none of those amino acids that form the bulk of collagen are what are actually considered essential amino acids. What this means is that under normal conditions, the body can synthesize enough of them all by itself. Now, with that said, glycine and proline are considered to be conditionally essential amino acids. What that means is that in conditions where the body is dealing with injury or sickness or some other form of unusual stress, it may become necessary to eat sources of these amino acids, since the body is no longer able to synthesize a sufficient supply of them. So, in theory, consuming collagen protein could be helpful for people who are in that type of a situation. As a note on one of them in particular, hydroxyproline is only really found in collagen. You're not going to see it in most other protein sources. The reason why that may not be as significant as it sounds is because the body forms it by combining proline with a hydroxyl group in a process that's facilitated using vitamin C. So when we don't get enough vitamin C, we aren't able to synthesize enough hydroxyproline, which means we can't synthesize collagen, resulting in the symptoms that we associate with scurvy. From what I can tell, this really only makes the consumption of vitamin C important, not the consumption of hydroxyproline, but it is worth noting. So what does it actually do? This is where the science gets a little bit muddy. We'll start with the mechanistic studies, and then we'll take a look at the human outcomes. So the general idea of supplementing collagen, like I mentioned before, is increasing the synthesis of collagen in your bones, your joints, and your skin. At least one study has examined the relationship between collagen ingestion and connective tissue synthesis, because bear in mind, all of these tissues that I'm talking about, your skin, your joints, your bones, these are connective tissues. And at least in this study, there didn't seem to be any increase. This was the topic of a recent BioLane video. This study was conducted on younger participants. When we look at the studies examining downstream outcomes, it does seem to perform better than a placebo for improving knee pain, especially in people with osteoarthritis, and especially with people who are over the age of 50. It also seems to improve skin elasticity and reduce wrinkle severity in a group of women hovering around the age of 44. These results seem to come up often enough that there does seem to be some plausibility connecting the consumption of collagen to an improvement in your own collagen production, especially as you get older. The form of collagen that seems to have the most promise is known as type 2 collagen, mostly present in joint cartilage. It comes in hydrolyzed and undenatured forms. Now, the hydrolyzed form means that it was processed at high enough temperatures that those longer chains of amino acids were broken down into shorter ones. Undenatured just means that wasn't done and those longer chains have been left mostly intact. You can also consume collagen through good old-fashioned gelatin, the common food ingredient that makes your jello more jiggly. So, should anyone be buying it? As I mentioned earlier, it can become useful to consume the amino acids in collagen, specifically proline and glycine, if your body is having trouble producing enough of it on its own. Now, who does that apply to? Well, if you're young, active, and otherwise have healthy joints and skin, this probably isn't you, and as a result, supplementing collagen probably won't have any meaningful impact. Chances are, as long as you're consuming enough vitamin C, you're having no trouble synthesizing all of the collagen that your body needs for its connective tissues. Also, if you're a vegetarian like me, you're basically shit out of luck on this anyway, since you're going to have to bear in mind that collagen supplements generally come from the byproducts of processing animals for food. We're talking chicken sternums and cowhide here. It can also be found in eggshell membrane, which, at least for vegetarians, would make it plausibly something you could consume. But even the supplement I found that listed that as its main ingredient still contained bovine collagen. So if you're vegan or veggie, chances are this is a non-starter for you. Going back to who this could be for, in at least one study of males over 50, they experienced no relief from joint pain after 3 months of consuming collagen daily. But after 6 months, they did report an improvement. So if those results are generalizable, you're looking at the process of buying something and consuming it every single day for half a year before you even have an idea of whether or not it's working. And even if you have arthritis, collagen might only be useful if you have osteoarthritis, not rheumatoid arthritis. This is because osteoarthritis involves the breakdown of the cartilage in your knees and hips, whereas rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder. It's your own body actually attacking those joints. Lastly, age does seem to be a deciding factor here, and that does make sense because collagen synthesis does seem to naturally decrease with age. Factors like stress and sun exposure do seem to play a role, but ultimately the process seems to be as inevitable as aging itself. So based on this, it looks like there might be merit to taking collagen as you get older, especially if you experience osteoarthritis. But there's something I didn't notice on my first read of the studies cited in the doobly-doo. Credit to my partner Raven for spotting that before I posted this video. Most of them are double-blind, human randomized controlled trials, which is the gold standard for this type of research. Except there's one small problem. These were placebo-controlled trials. If you're like me, you probably don't even see the problem yet. However, you have to understand that in studies that are testing a health intervention, such as a drug or a supplement, the gold standard for a control group is not going to be a placebo. You use a placebo for something where there isn't currently an accepted standard of treatment. For example, if you were testing a new blood pressure medication, you wouldn't be testing against a placebo with a study on this medication. The question isn't at this point, does the medication work? The question is, does it work better than what is already being used? So what would we be comparing collagen to? Any other type of protein. Let's do a little side-by-side comparison here. This is the breakdown of the amino acids in a bulk whey protein powder. And here is the breakdown of the amino acids in a bulk collagen powder. The serving sizes as listed were a little fucky, so I had to do some math, but we're gonna take a look at these numbers side by side per dose. For glycine, whey has 0.7 grams, collagen is 3.5. For proline, whey has 2 grams and collagen only 1.4. And then for hydroxyproline, there isn't any in whey, and there's 1 gram in the collagen. So looking at this, all collagen is really bringing to the table is glycine and hydroxyproline. We know the body can make hydroxyproline on its own out of proline in a process, again, that is facilitated by vitamin C. So the floating question is, does this make enough of a difference to merit taking a whole other supplement? Or at least taking a supplement besides consuming, and bear in mind, I'm not even talking about taking protein powder instead of taking collagen. I'm talking about just eating adequate protein. For now, we can only speculate, because the question that needs to be answered is collagen special for these outcomes compared to more conventional protein sources? We're asking, should you be buying this supplement? As far as the cost per dose goes, collagen is generally cheaper. So on that basis, I do get the appeal if you could only pick one. But frankly, you should be aspiring to eat a lot of protein in your diet one way or the other, whether that's done through supplementation or through more standard nutrition. And if we bring protein powder back into the equation, whey, as an example, contains an abundant supply of all 9 essential amino acids, the ones you cannot synthesize at all. And since those are the highest priority forget things like muscle building, we're just talking your health here. This really begs the question of what is the value of collagen specifically? Now, if your answer is, well, the glycine and hydroxyproline are valuable enough on their own to merit taking collagen, I hear you, there might be something there, but those amino acids, in addition to glycine, are actually abundantly found in cheap plant-based foods that you generally would associate with plant-based protein. So think beans, lentils, legumes, tofu, tempeh, quinoa, things that most people should have in their diet anyway. In other words, based on the available evidence, the ideal use case for collagen is the following person: someone who is over 45, suffering from osteoarthritis, and doesn't eat plant-based sources of protein where they could be getting those amino acids from. And if that describes you, feel free to talk to your doctor about incorporating collagen into your diet. And for everyone else, it's probably worth giving a pass. This is my first don't take this supplement video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts below. Links to all the sources are in the doobly-doo if you want to check my work. Now go get friggin' strong.